Going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Viall Files Reality Recap Edition. I am your host, Nick, and boy, do we have a great episode lined up for you today. What is your peach in your pit, my love, of the weekend or the past few days?
Oh my God. Peach and pit.
You don't know what
Rose
a peach
and
and pit
thorn.
is? Rose and thorn, peach and
Best
pit?
and never heard peach and pit.
You ever heard peach and pit?
No.
My wife taught it to me. Is it a Southern thing?
Probably.
Georgia.
The peaches of Georgia. Yeah, we
Oh, is it
invented
maybe exclusive to Georgians?
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay. I like peach and pit. What, rose and thorn?
Florida, we do the gator and the tail.
Rose and thorn's a little bachelory.
Yeah, it is. What were you saying, Mary?
Oh, I said in Florida, we do the gator and the tail, but you have to
Mm.
tear those apart so it gets a little dark down there.
Yeah.
Are you joking, or is that? I will believe this. Is this real?
I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious.
You're like, what was your head and your tail of your day?
Gator head and tail, specifically. Ask
Okay.
anyone from Florida. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
What was the peach and pit of my weekend, or just like
The past few days, or yeah.
I feel like you have an answer you want to share, and so that's why you're asking me. Is because
Yeah. It's
Okay.
not.
Yeah, you know when someone's like, "Oh,
You've been a real this.
no. You know when someone's like, when was like the last time, or when's the next time you're going on vacation? And you're like, oh, I don't know. I maybe in a few. When are you? They're like, well, next week I'm going to Italy, and then I'm going to France, and then I'm going to. And it's like, oh, okay, you wanted to talk about your trip. Perfect, we can do that.
That is not.
I
why
feel called
asked.
out.
Oh,
That's
okay.
going to be me.
I was just genuinely curious.
No, the pit was finding out that someone took my comments about Leia's hair as being when I wasn't. I just was.
Oh,
I
no.
was saying she was brave and confident for getting her hair cut.
That actually, just right there, sounds a bit condescending.
No, I'm being serious. I'm being dead ass serious. For her to have like
bravery and hair.
It
at
is
the same
true
sentences.
to have never used a Dyson Airwrap and then to choose the first time you're ever going to use it on the day you chop your hair off is confident and brave.
That's
That
true.
is not me being like, oh my God.
Actually, I bought the air wrap after I cut my hair.
So
Yeah, but the
Yeah,
first time
which
you
was-
used it
Yes.
and showcased it was the same time you were showcasing your new haircut.
Yes. Yes.
yeah. So I got a DM, someone calling me a to
Natalie's
you, and-
DMs are.
That's
We need to
wild.
start a new segment called Natalie's DMs.
Yeah. Honestly, it'll probably just invite people to send me more.
Or maybe
Yeah.
prevent them from sending stuff.
I don't know. No, people love attention.
Yeah.
Anyways, you gotta know, because what's so beautiful about these DMs is because like anytime Natalie gets like a DM like this, she'll like note, if she notices one, right? Like, and then you kind of click on it, and it's almost always someone who's already has already DM'd her multiple times, and then it's like the change up. It's just like one. It's like
Yeah, they don't unsend their previous messages. So like when they weren't pissed at me, they were asking me for links or something. And then it's like calling me a
it's
next
wild.
one.
I forgot about this. Isn't that why I asked you? You're pinching your pit, but thanks for remembering.
Oh.
Yeah.
She says, why were you legit such a to Leia today about her hair? Maybe because you have money now, you think being a is cute?
Oh my God.
Wow.
Jarring.
But also, we're friends, and it was clearly like going back and forth.
But they also always feel like I'm such a bitchy to Nick too. When I'm like, you didn't shut the cabinet doors last night. And they're like, oh my God, how dare you call him out on a podcast, you bitch. So,
Well, they're all
but
probably
Leia, I
married
do
to-
love you. And I do love that your hair is short. So
Thank
anyways,
you.
her message
Still
above
looks the
that.
same to me.
Her
I'm
message
never going to cut my hair again.
literally, you've caused such a commotion. But her message above that is, where's this bagel place? Looking for good bagels in LA.
And then-
Oh, no, for sure. Let me give you a fucking bagel wreck after you call me a Then her message above that is, Natalie, you can do so much better than Nick. What are you doing? It's like,
Like,
so she
wait,
cared about
wait.
me. She thought I was like good and like too good for you. So she cared about me. And then she was like, oh, she has good taste, like, and she has good taste in food. So like, where does she eat? And then like, oh no, she's actually a legit a and I think being a is cute.
Does she still think you could do better?
I don't
That's
know.
just really my big takeaway.
Yeah.
Nick's
Yeah.
biggest concern.
I would follow up, but you can't follow up with crazy. What do you always say? You can't reason with crazy.
Can't reason with can't fight the internet. That's for
You
sure.
can't fight the internet.
You know.
Yeah.
That was kind
does-
of my.
Wow.
No, well, that wasn't my
What?
peach. But now you think they make me laugh so much. These the comments she gets. It's wild.
Well, just post another bagel and it'll go right back.
Literally.
1 second, we have a customer service
Okay,
call.
where is it? Okay, thanks. Bye. I cannot with these people. I cannot. That's sorry. Sorry to the girl who has DM'd me, but you've been overjumped.
We have
My
a new
pit has
pit.
now changed to customer service of
Okay.
furniture people.
Which actually, funny enough, brings me to my peach.
Yes, of course.
Natalie's pit is Nick's peach.
Yes, of course.
Well, no, it's just like, listen, every household, pun on words, but everyone has their kind of things that people do. It's just like, for example, like Natalie does the laundry. I'm allergic to laundry. I do the dishes. Natalie's allergic to doing dishes. It works out for us. Historically, when it comes to calling customer service, it's something I take great pride in, and I feel like I excel in. And I honestly think like the key to life is anyone's ability to deal with customer service. I really do. It's like it's great practice for like life in general, because I honestly think like the success, like your ability to be successful in life is honestly your ability to like reason with people, know when to ask for help, know when to push back, know when to set a boundary, know when to like talk calmly, know when to like escalate a little bit, and honestly, if you get good at customer service, people who are trained to dismiss you, people who are trained to come up with excuses, et cetera, like I'm a big believer. I've literally told one of our employees that they should call customer service over and over to practice on like setting boundaries and pushing back, because honestly, there's no better place to learn how to do that. Anyways, my peach is over the weekend, we have been like ordering some furniture, changing some rooms, et cetera. And my wife took it upon herself to start making calls. And I heard her in the background, and I was turned on. I was turned on. It was awesome. It made me so in love with her. Just the way she, like, I felt like, wow, she really learned something from me. Like I've add value in this person's life. Just the way she was pushing back, and again, like it's not about calling up customer service and yelling.
Nick
you know
did
what I'm
at
saying?
some point. Nick did at some point say, "Now they do know where we live,
Yeah.
so maybe reel it in just a tad."
there was a couple. Listen, like she's not a black belt yet. Like this takes years of practice, and I've been really like excelling at this. And but it's like she just took it upon herself, and I was quite turned on. It was
Thank you,
I
honey.
found it to be very sexy. And
I do feel like becoming
I
a mom.
appreciated your help.
Thank you. I do feel like becoming a mom, Leia. I wonder if you've entered this yet. Of like, you do kind of become a Karen. Like, I think it's just instinctual. Of like, I will yell at people going too fast through the neighborhood. Like, I will tell you to slow down. I will like the people who I put out my no soliciting sign, and like they still come up and ring my doorbell, which makes my dogs bark and then wakes up my sleeping baby. Like I will chase you down the street and be like, "Did you see my sign?" Like I am in that era of life. And so I think, getting on the phone with those people and them just giving me the absolute runaround frustrated me so bad. And then it's like they need you to say certain keywords. So I was like, can I speak to someone else who like can actually help me with this? And he was like, well, everyone else that I could give the phone to would give you the same answer as me. And I'm like, just anyone else. And he's like, is there a type of person? And I'm like, you're a manager. He's like, that's the word I needed. I'm like, stop playing a game with me. Like, I'm not fucking around.
No, but like
You know what I'm asking for.
that's the world. The world is full of people. Like everyone in this world is, operating under they're the main character in this story, right? And so like whether it's at work, whether it's your friends, whether it's your family, we're all looking to, get more than we earn, deserve, whatever, like that's life. Life is about human interaction. It's about like, if you're not going to set a boundary or expectations, if you're not going to ask for what you deserve, you're just not going to get it. You're just not. In life, in relationships, it doesn't matter. And honestly, like if you have to get good at speaking up for yourself in a nice way, like
because like people will push you. I think I talked about this with Lisa on our episode on Tuesday of just like these people will just push and push and push and be like, well, they haven't called to complain yet, so let's just keep pushing. And they had like pushed this delivery so many times to the point there, and then it was like, oh well, our truck's full now, so it can't go on. And I'm like, well, I was scheduled for this 3 weeks ago, and now you're like not prioritizing me. And so You do have to like stand up for yourself because like to get what you want.
And you get good at it. And you get good at like listening to people feeding you bullshit or, actually trying to help you. And again, like the key to customer service is always asking for help because everyone wants to be a hero. If you call up and say, I really need your help, that best way to start one of those conversations. But anyways, I thought that was great.
Wait, what was your pit? If that was your peach,
what was my pit? There are so many.
So many pits. Perfect. No, great. I thought we had a good weekend.
No, we had a great weekend, but
So many pits.
I just always had to put out, I'm always putting out fires. I don't know. It's usually work related or some kind of thing that stresses me out. Nothing out of the ordinary. But that was a peach that was like, I was just kind of turned on and I was just like.
And then we had crazy sex after that because he was so turned on.
So turned on.
Yes, of course.
Did
anyone else have any fun peaches or pits of their week?
Well, I got a Dyson Airwrap.
Yes, of course. And your pit was me commenting on it. Yes, of course.
That was my peach. And then Natalie shouted on it. And that was my pit.
Yes. All right, moving on. Sierra, do you have any?
No, actually, Louis started crawling this week.
Did he?
Yes.
Oh.
Very
Like, is he
exciting.
scooting or is he full on going?
He's scooting.
Oh, that's so fun.
Yeah.
He's
it's
going to
very
learn
cute.
quick.
Yeah, it's exciting, but I know it's also going to become my pit very quickly.
I honestly, everyone always said, like, oh, just wait till they start walking. Like, and I was ready for her to start walking because the crawling stressed me out. Like, I'm like, I know you want it because they want to get down and they know that they can move. So they want to get down and they want to move. But then you're like, no, we're outside. There's like dog poop. Like you can't crawl here. We're in the grocery store. You can't crawl here. So it was like, I need her to walk. And now she walks and holds my hand and it's perfect.
Oh,
You'll get
yeah,
there.
I'm excited for that.
Sierra?
I guess peach, I colored my hair lighter and I like it. So
Love.
there's that. Hit, I've been a single dog mom for a week and a half because Connor's been out of town. So that's been a little stressful. Yeah. I'm like, and my dog's blind and 12 years old and
isn't Bailey like obsessed? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like one of those things where it's like, okay, I'll be here soon. Da-da-da. So I was like, that's been like stressful, but he comes back Sunday. So bless.
God bless. Mary, anything standing out to you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, okay, so my peach is that on Friday I got to go to a Lakers game for free with my friends, which was super,
But was
super
it fun? Did you feel like?
I did feel it was fun.
Okay.
She had floor tickets.
I had.
Oh,
they were
damn. She's rich as
tickets.
fuck.
No, okay. My friend's boss got given tickets because of something that she did and then didn't want to go, so gave it to my friend. And then we all went, and it was really, really fun. We saw Luca. We saw Bronny embarrass himself. It made me laugh a lot. He like fumbled the ball. Saw LeBron dunk. So it was pretty great. And then my pit is that there was a frat party at my apartment and I had to go to it.
Ew.
Why did you have to go to it?
Well, because I technically kind of co-host it. It was like all of the people that live at my apartment complex were like throwing a joint party. And then I was like, I'm not going to be involved in this, but
That
I'll
is
show up.
so me-coded to be like, oh my God, let's have a party. And then be like, why the fuck are these people in my house?
I did not. There are like 4 boys that live across from us. And they were like, yeah, we're going to throw a huge like spring break rager. And I was like, okay. And then it ended up just being a joint. Like all of our garages kind of like face each other and there's like a big back area. So a bunch of people were there. And then it was just like a true frat party and it was spring break themed. And I was like, well, I'm just going to dress like me when I go home for spring break. But I had like a little crop top on and shorts and I look at my friend and I go, am I straight passing? And then she laughed in my face and fell on the ground.
Perfect.
And I was like, gotcha.
So,
And then my boy roommate was like, maybe you could meet someone tonight. And I go, meet someone tonight?
That's
I said, I'm trying not to
crazy.
get hate crimed tonight.
That's crazy. I did find a and it's a little icky and it's a little cringy. I understand that, but I am in my flip-flop era. Do not look at my feet, but I am in my flip-flop era.
She is.
Okay.
It's
They're a
gross.
little
That's my
Havianas
pet.
as
There
well.
you
They're
go.
like $10 at Walmart. They are so comfortable and easy, and I miss wearing flip-flops.
Around the house, it's fine, but where were we going?
I don't know. We're going somewhere, and then we came back home, and then we're going back out again, and I was wearing shorts, and I was like, are these okay? And Nick was like, you know how I feel about shorts. And he was like, those are cute. It's actually the flip-flops. And can you put a hat on? And can you and can you
Nick
put
would
a
not
bag over your
survive a
head?
day
And could you actually
in the
not come with
Sunshine
me?
State.
Yeah, my shorts thoughts are mostly centered around men. Like Shorts
Yeah.
can be very
Yeah.
sexy, obviously, and ladies have great legs. We love that you show them off. But like adult men, and if you're not working out, you shouldn't be wearing shorts. If you're on vacation on a beach, kind of acceptable. Kind of. It's like you're on vacation. Let's get nuts. You know, like fine, Hawaiian shirt it up. You know, wear a pair of shorts. But if you're in the like continental United States and it's like an afternoon and you're going out in public and you're wearing shorts,
Nick's judging.
you're kind of a loser.
He's judging. Anyways,
You have obviously never been to a public supermarket before, but that's all I have to say on that.
I mean, listen, there's a lot of people out there I have low opinions of, but you know.
guys, this space trip has turned into the most like laughable moment of our history, I believe.
Yeah.
Like the amount of who
Yeah.
said it that this was $1 billion of memes? Who said that?
Should we bring in Elizabeth to talk about it?
We should definitely bring her in, but I have one thing I want to say before Elizabeth gets here.
Okay.
And that's the fact that Gayle King said that the best part of it all was Katy Perry singing What a Wonderful World. It's like she didn't want to just like listen to Spotify. Like you had to go to, that's the best part of you going to space is listening to Katy Perry sing.
Nope.
I didn't think about that.
Gonna be a no for me, dog.
That's the best part of her going to space. Not like, oh, I saw the moon.
Do you think
Oh, I
Bezos
saw
wants his
some
money
stars.
back? He's like, that's the best part.
It was like you heard Katy Perry sing live. Like go to a
Maybe-
concert.
Maybe that's why he face planted.
That was so embarrassing for him.
Who face planted?
Jeff Bezos.
Jeff Bezos.
What?
You
When?
haven't seen this video?
No.
He was like
very
walking
embarrassing.
around and he just like tripped and face planted into the ground.
Before we finish the spaceship exploration story, let's bring Elizabeth Wagmeister on. If you don't know who she is, she's been a guest many times on this show, formerly of Variety, now with CNN. She is the foremost expert in pop culture journalism, and she's going to break down this and many more stories. So let's bring on Elizabeth.
Nick, have you ever had the conversation when you meet someone and they say, hey, how are you doing? And without thinking, you respond with, I'm good. How are you?"
Almost every conversation. Yeah.
I know. Well, when you say you're good, you should mean it. And that's why you need to use Headspace. Headspace is an app that helps 100 million people with their mental health and well-being with guided meditations, mindfulness practices, breathing and calming exercises, and so much more. You can reduce stress, boost your mood, and sleep better.
And listen, I think we all know that meditation is good for you. But if you're like me, you know, like it's like, what is meditation? How do you meditate? I've been that person before. I found Headspace. Headspace combines scientifically proven benefits of meditation and mindfulness with modern practices, and you learn from experienced meditation teachers. The app has customized, personalized approaches to help you navigate through all of life's moments, big and small.
If you're a total newbie or if you've been meditating for years, there's always content for what you're going through. Whenever you use it, it feels like it's made just for you. When you're short on time, Headspace has these quick on-the-go programs that help you get in the right headspace in just a few minutes. Plus, with over 1,000 hours of mindfulness exercises, it's got the most complete meditation library you've seen. So you can always find something that works for you. Feel good and mean it when you say it. For a limited time, get Headspace free for 60 days. Go to headspace.com/viallfiles. That's HEADSPACE.com/viallfiles to unlock all Headspace free for 60 days. Headspace.com/viallfiles. From the stress of life's changes to busy schedules, postpartum or menopause, your hair goes with you through it all. And hair thinning and shedding affects more than just our hair. In fact, 2 in 3 women say the way their hair looks can completely change how they feel about themselves. With Nutrafol award-winning line of hair growth supplements, you can feel confident in your hair and focus on what matters most to you. I've raved about Nutrafol for years now. I will forever rave about Nutrafol because it works. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1.5 million people, seeing thicker, stronger, faster growing hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months. With Nutrafol, I used their women's 18 and up before I got pregnant. My hair was in the best shape it had ever possibly been. It was so long. It was so healthy. It rarely ever shedded. And then I used their postpartum formula after giving birth to River. Nick's mom just asked for it. I gave her some. My mom is on it. I've had so many stylists recommend it. It truly is a great product. This Mother's Day, consider Nutrafol the best-selling hair growth supplement. A couple other products are the postpartum formula, which is great for women in the first year after giving birth. The Women's Balance formula is perfect for women 45 and up experiencing perimenopause or menopause. And of course, the women's formula that's great for those who are just in between life stages. Whether you're gifting to yourself or a loved one, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off any order. Enjoy free shipping when you subscribe. Go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code VIALLGIFT. Nutrafol spelled Nutrafol.com. Promo code VIALLGIFT. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code VIALLGIFT.
Hey, Elizabeth.
Hey, how are you?
How's it going? Welcome back.
Thank you. I missed you guys.
We miss
We
you.
missed you. Well, we're just
You've been too busy for us. You
Yeah,
were
it's
just
true.
here and there and everywhere.
reporting all these big, high-profile cases.
I'm like, I'm too busy for my own life. I need more sleep and more time to hang with you guys. But I'm so proud of you. Like, this is the news that we all knew was coming, but you have worked so hard and I've been there from the beginning and I'm just so excited for you guys with your new deal.
Oh, well, thank you, Elizabeth, for
Thanks.
saying. We just pretend that the show just keeps going on. It's just like we're still flying coach. You know what I'm saying? Like,
You gotta be frugal and you gotta be smart to keep it going.
hey,
Or we'll
listen,
end
that's
up like the rat lifts.
yeah, it's the only way you stay rich.
White
It's
Lotus.
like
Exactly.
flat coach. Anyways, we were talking while we're waiting for you to join us about the infamous shuttle that Jeff Bezos sent a bunch of ladies up into space and to sing a jingle. And yeah, the world is up at the world is. I'm shocked that this many people care about this. And obviously it was always going to be kind of like some kind of stunt, right? Like, why do you feel like it's been so poorly received?
The public really likes to hate on rich people doing things that they don't perceive as important, particularly in this day and age where it seems like every day, I work in news, I work at CNN. It seems like every day you turn on the news and the world is falling apart in some fashion. There's terrible things happening all over the world. And then you see, not every person who was on that shuttle, we'll call it, but many of them are wealthy and were in glam and spoke about how they wanted to be in glam and went up to space. And that's obviously a very costly mission. And I think that the reason why it comes off as tone deaf is because people are saying, is this really what's important? Now, of course, if you ask the people who commissioned this, they're saying, those critics are totally missing the point. This is about equity for women, showing that women could do anything and we're making history. And of course, I'm all for that. And I do hope, like, if there's little girls out there who see this and are saying, oh my gosh, I can go to space one day too. Like, that's what you hope comes from it. But I think the manner in which it was done, being on the cover of Elle, talking about wearing glam up there, came off a little tone deaf.
Yeah, only because I didn't realize that was like the goal of the mission to break glass ceilings. Because I honestly thought that when it came to space exploration, we've had many very successful women astronauts, right? No, haven't women been going up to space for some time now?
Yes, I think the difference here is that it was, from their perspective, this was an all-female space exploration mission.
Gotcha.
So the fact that it was all women, which I believe, I don't study space exploration. I believe it's been done once before where there was an all-female mission. So yes, there have been many female astronauts, but
Gotcha.
the fact that it was so many together is what they were
was the
trying to
mission?
do. Great question. I have no, and I think, but by the way, I think this is the point, is I think people were saying, you went up, it took 11 minutes. My commute to work is longer than that. And I think people were saying it was 11 minutes. What did we accomplish?
Yeah.
What is the mission is the question. I don't know. Again, I don't study this.
It also does kind of feel like that they're using that, we want little girls to see it. But it's it feels like the message is oh, you need to be friends with a billionaire like Jeff Bezos and he'll put you on a flight. It doesn't feel like you need to believe in yourself and you'll become an astronaut. How I don't see how those two messages.
Yeah, I don't know if we know any of these. Are we calling them astronauts? I don't know. I don't think so.
They technically are now,
right? Because
what is the definition of an astronaut?
I guess.
I'm calling them astronauts.
They were
don't
an
you have to
astronaut
training?
for 11 minutes.
No one calls me a pilot when I go on an airplane.
Right. But Natalie, I think, you brought up the operative word here, which is Jeff Bezos, right? So let's, call out the elephant in the room. I started off by saying people really love to hate on rich people for doing things that are out of touch and seem unnecessary. And, if this were done by NASA and didn't include celebrities who spoke about wearing fake eyelashes in space, if this weren't a Jeff Bezos funded mission, which by the way, if you do have a few $100,000 sitting around, you can do it yourself. So I think a lot of people felt like this is a promotional gimmick, right? For Jeff Bezos' company, where maybe if it were, done by someone else, it wouldn't have come off.
So this is like a commercial thing that anyone can do if they have the cash?
Yeah.
This was like the launch of it, right? Like this is like the first trip, and now it's like, well, I think Logan Paul has been like, oh, I'm on the next one. Like,
so it's an elitist theme park?
Yeah, like everyone can go to space as long as you have.
Yeah, I listen, if I want my daughter to be inspired, I want to know if any of these people who went up to space got at least a B in physics and science. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, but here's the thing: there were, we're just talking about the celebrities on there, but there were some women there who were overshadowed, right? Like, who are in this world. So that's some commentary that I've seen as well. Some criticism. People are saying like these women who actually, have dedicated their lives to this are now being overshadowed. And by the way, like for me, obviously, no hate on Katy Perry and Lauren Sanchez, but they are famous and they are very wealthy and they were wearing full glam and they spoke about wearing full glam. And I think if the point of this was to use your, what you said, Nick, to break the glass ceiling and say women can do it all, which again, like representation is so important. If little girls see women going up into space, that's great. But the messaging around it shouldn't have been, hey, should we wear false lashes in space? It should have been, we hope to inspire little girls.
I do think it's funny though when other celebrities criticize other celebrities for doing meaningless and pointless things, because it's like, I don't know, like I saw like Emily Ratajkowski had some very critical comments, and it's just like, I mean, I guess, but like, you're all rich and famous, and you all kind of, it's not like you're dedicating your entire life to helping those, and I'm not even expecting him to, but it's just like,
Olivia Munn did have a good point. I think she like co-hosted the Today Show.
Yeah.
And she was like, all that fuel, like rocket fuel, can't be good for the environment for 11 minutes. Like, and if we're gonna charge this and like make this a once a year kind of thing for whoever can afford it, like we can't be doing good to our ecosystem.
What I found was that it's an $150,000 deposit that's required, but it's refundable to get a seat on one of these Blue Origins. And then the actual estimate for an individual seat can cost a range of $1 million to $1.5 million.
This is how rich people die.
This is like the submersible.
Exactly. Thank you. It's just like,
the submersible.
why are rich people looking for ways to die? Listen, I'm all for, when it comes to this conversation, like I'm all for like, we need to not have like let's die slowly, our society. I'm all for like thinking of the future, like everything has a cost. We do need to take care of our earth, and we also need to like advance our technology and maybe become a species that 100 years in the future can, I don't know, do actual space exploration. So I'm all for that. But like, this is an amusement part for rich people. It's just like, I'm all for exploring the sea. I'm all for exploring space, but like, this isn't exploring. This is just,
Six Flags for rich people.
Yeah, just like finding meaning in life because you have so much money that everything is mundane and boring.
Right. And by the way, mark my words, if I won the lottery tomorrow, you could not get me on that submersible. I mean,
Absolutely.
That would never, oh my gosh, never.
Especially, and I just said this before you came on, but especially after hearing Gayle King say that the best part of going to space was hearing Katy Perry sing live. And it's like, out of everything you saw up there?
Not dying.
Right.
Like I went to space and I survived. Like a lot of people haven't.
Or like stars and planets.
And you could also see Katy Perry on land, you can like buy a ticket for her at any arena.
Weren't there like two astronauts who have been stuck in space for the better part of a year recently and like had to like be rescued?
Yeah, and that's the other thing. The timing of that wasn't good, because it's like, why have they been up there for so long? It took so long for that rescue. And then here we are just kind of gallivanting
like
for,
up and down in 11 minutes.
Up and down. But I will say, like, from the other side, amazing advancements in technology to know that, I guess if you have $1.5 million, but there is the technology that there could one day be commercial space exploration. And if that's what they're trying to promote, great. But when it's Jeff Bezos promoting that. And again, it is his fiance with her famous friends, and the messaging around it wasn't quite on brand for, advancement for little girls and space exploration. That's where it becomes a thing. But Nick, I am with you. My favorite part of this is all of the celebrities that are speaking out about it. And I thought Olivia Munn, I thought she did a really good job with her commentary, because she was the first one to kind of put this on the map and say, wait, they said that out loud. Like, we're talking about wearing fake eyelashes and wearing glam in space. We're not talking about space exploration and the advancements in technology. So I thought she did a really good job.
I agree. I do feel like there's also a lot going on. Harvey Weinstein, Russell Brand. There's like so much going on. Can you catch us up? What do you know?
Yeah, all these former A-list men who have committed or allegedly committed some pretty terrible atrocities. Yeah, what is the latest on these accusations?
Well, to my point, in the news every day, there's important things going on in the world, which, maybe is why the 11-minute, gallivanting to space didn't land so well. So let's start off by talking about Harvey Weinstein, because this is a really big story. You both know, because I've been on the Viall files to talk about this before. I've been covering this for nearly a decade. I was in court for both of Weinstein's trials in New York and LA. And just this week, his retrial started again. So I think from what I've been talking to, my friends, from viewers, people are really confused. They're like, why is this happening again? Isn't he in jail for life? Well, he was sentenced to 23 years in New York back in 2020. Then another trial, he was sentenced to 16 years in Los Angeles. So 39 years for someone in their 70s is, effectively a life sentence. Well, he appealed the New York conviction, which you guys remember was the groundbreaking trial, hailed as a big victory for the Me Too movement back in 2020. He appealed that, and last year he won his appeal. Now, his appeal was not, he didn't win that based on the merit of believing the women or not believing the women. It was on a legal technicality, we'll say. I could go into that, but I won't bore you guys.
Kind of similar to the Bill Cosby of it all?
Totally different reasons, but similar in the sense that the conviction was not overturned because of what these women said. It had nothing to do with the allegations, nothing to do with believing the women or not. It had to do with something that the lawyers found that they took issue with, and the court agreed that, when it comes to the justice system, there's certain rules and certain evidence that should or should not be admitted. So in this case with Weinstein, it was women whose allegations didn't lead to charges. So women who were uncharged witnesses were able to testify in the first trial. The Court of Appeals said that should not have been allowed. There were too many people with allegations of bad behavior who were allowed to testify in front of the jury. The only people who should be able to testify are the ones whose allegations were the reason for the charges against him.
What about like character witnesses, or isn't that a thing?
So yes, but there obviously will be other witnesses in this new trial who aren't the charged witnesses. You'll have expert witnesses. You'll have witnesses who can corroborate some of what these women are saying, or who can corroborate what Weinstein's team is saying. But they do not want to have these uncharged witnesses who are effectively getting on the stand and doing what the other women are doing. They're talking about their allegations of horrific behavior from Weinstein that they allege, but there's no charges. So this time you're going to see less women. There's 3 women testifying instead of 6 women. 2 of the women have already testified and were the part of the reason why he was sentenced to 23 years. And now there's a 3rd woman who is a Jane Doe. I don't know who she is. Nobody knows who she is. I got the first interview with her attorney. We aired that yesterday on CNN. This woman, who's an unknown Jane Doe, her identity will come out publicly in this trial. She will not be remaining a Jane Doe. She alleges that she was assaulted in a New York hotel by Weinstein in 2006. And being assaulted in a hotel is a pattern among these allegations. Many of these women, there's been over 100 women who have accused Harvey Weinstein publicly. Many of them have said, I was summoned to a hotel room under the false pretense of a business meeting, and then I was sexually assaulted. So it's interesting because he could be acquitted in New York. And if he's acquitted, the conviction in Los Angeles still stands, 16 years, but his team is also appealing that decision in Los Angeles. So it is not a crazy thing to say that there is a path now for Harvey Weinstein to walk free in the next few years.
Yeah, I mean, we never thought Bill Cosby would get out of jail, and next thing you knew, he was a free man.
He very much is, and he's selling out shows in Pennsylvania when he does stand-up.
What?
So I interviewed Harvey Weinstein's attorney this week, and he tells me that the first trial was unfair because Harvey was made out to be the poster boy of the Me Too movement, which they say unfairly was made out to be the poster boy, and that tainted the jury. So if you ask Harvey Weinstein, he says, all of those women are lying, all 100 women. I've never sexually assaulted anyone. But as his lawyer told me this week, and he is correct on this trial has nothing to do with those 100+ allegations. It only has to do with the testimony of 3 women.
Wow.
And what I will say based on my reporting over the past decade, what that showcases to me is how hard it is to prosecute sex crimes cases. You have 100 women who have spoken out, but you can only get 6 in a court of law. And now that 6 is whittled down to 3 because the different intricacies in the justice system, there are reasons, whether it's the statute of limitations, whether it's that they couldn't bring charges, whether it's that the woman isn't willing to testify. There's a myriad of reasons why you can't get these women in the courtroom. So again, 3 women, the word of 3 women on the stand and 12 jurors. It's 3 people and 12 people making the decision. That's what this case is about.
It's crazy. I saw a stat not too long ago, a couple of weeks. Who knows? I didn't fact check it. I saw it online. Maybe it was made up. I don't think it was. A man was giving like some kind of speech or TED talk. And I think he said something like 95% of all like or like sexual offenders, specifically men against women, never spend a day in jail.
That's true. And I'm actually, while we're doing this, I'm going to look up the exact stat for you because I know what you're talking about. So this comes from RAINN, which RAINN. Let me get the statistics for you. It may be more than 95.
I want to say actually, I thought I heard the word 97, but I wanted to undersell it, not overdo it. But
yes, okay. So
well, while you're looking it up, it's crazy when you think about it. Like I've made the story, whether it's my wife talking about an experience. I sadly have had too many women friends, whether it's, privately or whatever, have shared, their terrible experiences at some point in their life. And I don't know a single friend who's a woman who's sadly has a negative experience like that, where the person who violated them has served any type of justice at all. It's not a single one.
And it's also because these stories go viral and you think, wow, is it even worth it? Like these 100 women aren't even considered for this. And so it's like, is it even worth going public? Is it even worth all these people knowing that this happened to me? So I feel like these types of stories that go, super viral and media coverage is crazy. It can hurt a lot of victims.
Mm-hmm. And it's really difficult for these accusers to come forward for so many reasons. And this is what I have learned firsthand from my reporting because I have interviewed many Weinstein accusers. It's the public shame. It's going from being a private person to being a very public person. Your name is always on Google next to Harvey Weinstein. I mean, there's so many reasons why. Shame of talking to your own family. One of the Weinstein victims who testified in the first trial, she told me that her own father did not know this had happened to her. She had been harboring this for 15+ years. And she told her dad because she said this is going to be in the newspapers. So it's incredibly difficult for these accusers to come forward. And I looked up the stat, Nick. It's 25 out of every 1,000 perpetrators will end up in prison. The majority of these alleged crimes are never prosecuted. So when you take that, 25 perpetrators end up in prison out of every 1,000, it's because the majority of them, they're not even on the radar of law enforcement for a variety of reasons. So yet, Natalie, you're completely right that, this story and many others went viral. And at the time, from 2017 when Harvey Weinstein was first accused, and then 2020 when that trial happened and he was in court, that became this huge moment culturally around the world that, women are not going to stand for sexual violence anymore. We're going to speak up. And then, like everything, I interviewed Gloria Allred this week, who is representing one of the accusers in this trial. And she said, it's always, 2 steps forward and 1 step back. And, but when you see these setbacks like this, that a conviction is overturned, possibly could be acquitted, that will definitely scare more people from ever speaking up. And by the way, the reason why I can speak about this with such assurance, Harvey Weinstein is a convicted rapist. So, as a journalist, of course, it's very important that I'm looking at every side of every story.
So like we can drop the allegedly, right?
In this case, you have to use the allegedly, but he is not allegedly, or he is a convicted.
Yeah.
He was convicted in 2 jurisdictions, and one of those still stands. So again, you have accusations by 100 women that he denies, and he is a convicted in the state of California. So that's why we can really speak of this with clarity. But it is important to say that he completely denies ever having anything but consensual sex.
Him and Diddy.
Yeah. What's the latest on Diddy and Russell Brand?
So Russell Brand, that's not a story that I am leading coverage on, so I'm not following that super closely, but just to kind of give you the latest on that is in 2023, you'll remember that's when the allegations first came out. And it was a few different publications in the UK who they did their own independent investigations. They had numerous women come forward with allegations of sexual assault against Russell Brand. And they, at that point, the police in the UK started investigating these claims. So the claims first came out through journalists, and then police started investigating. Now you fast forward about a year and a half since those allegations first came forth, and he has now formally been charged with after police had been investigating these claims. So he came out and he denied these allegations back in 2023, and now he's denying these allegations, these charges again. And he came out on his social media, and his framing was interesting because he said, trust in the government and trust in our institutions is at an all-time low. And, who are you going to listen to? Are you really going to, believe the government? They're out to get him. And he's, and he said, I've done a lot of bad things. I was a sex addict. I was an addict, but I was not a rapist. So he came out, and he has a very, very large fan base, And if you look at the comments on that video across his socials, people are really standing with him. Thank you for speaking up and for defending yourself and, not just, being silent. Like, they're like, we stand with you, Russell. You're not a rapist. But he has been charged. So it appears that there would be some sort of trial in the near future. I mean, there's many steps to get there, but it's not just allegations made by journalists and made by women. Now there are charges, and he, is part of the case.
And then the Diddy of it all, is there any, I saw a report not too long ago that I think one of the people who accused him of something dropped the charges, but I wasn't sure if that was more like a civil case versus like the federal case. He's still very much being detained, correct? And is there any, from his camp, obviously they hope he beats these charges, but how is it looking in terms of, Diddy being held accountable for his alleged crimes?
For Diddy, it's not looking good. He is 100% still detained ever since he was indicted, which was fall of last year, when he was arrested in New York. He was put in jail. They made 3 attempts at bail. All those failed. So he has been in jail. He will be in jail until his trial. And if he is acquitted, then, he'll be free. But if he is found guilty, he could never leave jail. So his trial is starting. Tentatively, it's starting May 5th is when jury selection starts. This is really soon. This is 3 weeks away. But the latest development is literally 2 days ago, his team in court is saying that they want some more time. So the judge said, you have 48 hours because, we're moving full steam ahead. This trial is starting in 3 weeks. So if you need more time, you need to file your formal request for more time. So we'll know by this Friday. There's actually a hearing on this matter where Diddy will be in court in New York on Friday. If it's delayed, it'll just be delayed by a few weeks. So this trial is starting sometime between May and June. I will be covering it, so I will give you guys all the updates. But the case that you're referring to, Nick, that is one of the many civil cases. So Diddy right now is facing, I need to do an update on the count, but over 50 civil suits. I think it's closer to 60 at this point. So he's facing a huge volume of civil suits. That is completely separate from the criminal case. The criminal case is based on 3 victims, one of which is Cassie, and they will be testifying. And the civil suits technically have nothing to do with the case. However, it does color the case because a few months ago, I interviewed an attorney who explained to me that these civil suits are going to act as a roadmap for prosecutors because there's so many details in these suits that, of course, if you're a prosecutor investigating a criminal case, you have this like treasure trove of information. Now, it may not be true. Anyone could file a lawsuit, but if you're a federal investigator, of course, you're going to look at these lawsuits and you're going to contact the attorney and find out if you can interview the Jane Doe or the John Doe. So while the civil suits are completely separate from the criminal case, I am told from numerous sources that we are going to see some of these civil accusers on the stand, or that these civil accusers have been part of the investigation behind the scenes. So it's a long road ahead for Diddy. He has a mountain of legal troubles, both civilly and criminally. And the one that I believe you're referring to, Nick, that was dropped. Again, that's one of 50 plus. So he still has a lot of suits he is facing. That was dropped because the judge, each of these cases is, it's literally a case by case basis. All the civil cases have different judges, right? So the criminal case is one judge. The civil case has a different judge overseeing each one. It is up to that judge what rules they want to impart. So this particular judge said, I am not going to allow this person to pursue anonymously. They filed as a Jane or John Doe. And if they want to continue with this, they have to come forth with their real name. That particular accuser decided, I don't want to come forth with my real name, so they dropped me.
Wow, fascinating. On a slightly lighter note,
please.
I know you. I saw you tweeting about White Lotus. I don't know if you've been investigating this. The internet seems to be as well. But like, do you have any tea on the Walton Goggins, Aimee Lou potential drama of it all? Because there's a lot of speculation that, he has her blocked, that he posted this very nice message at the end, but there seems to be some disconnect. Then the SNL thing happened where she seemed upset about her portrayal. And then Walton Googled, haha, that was great. Now, maybe that could have been completely unconnected. Maybe he just thought it was great and just didn't pay much attention to, her character was portrayed. But whether it's as a fan like us, following the case, or as a reporter, do you have any insight on this potential feud?
So first of all, I'm fully engaged in this, just like you are. And I will tell you, this is the funniest thing about working at CNN, right? Everyone is a serious journalist. I have colleagues who are on Capitol Hill and at the White House. And anytime there is something like this, my phone is blowing up. Everyone is like, what do you know about this White Lotus feud? I wish I had more for you. I do know. The only thing that I will say, I was told this off the record, but there is something professionally that they are doing in the coming weeks together. So if there really is a feud, this has not stopped them from, it's not like they can't be in the same room, is my point. Because I am told that there is something on the books, but also work is work, right? So if you have to do something for work, look, they're about to go into a giant Emmy campaign. Every person in that show is going to be nominated. They're going to have to be in the same room. But the reason why that was interesting to me is because if you look at a Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni thing, they cannot be in the same room, right? So this isn't at that level by any means, because I am told that they are going to be doing something for work in the next few weeks. And also, I do think, like, I have no idea if there's really a feud or not. It could just be a bunch of like nonsense.
Well, who knows?
But what I will say,
but to your point, though, back to the Blake and Justin of it all, that all started with people speculating or noticing that like she didn't follow him and the rest of the cast didn't follow him, and then they weren't seeing the red carpet. And what was like, oh my God, is there something going on? And maybe nothing turned into this massive pop culture case that everyone's talking about. So it's, it's like, hey, it's probably nothing, but holy shit.
And I like, it's odd to unfollow your cast member. Like that's very weird.
It's even more odd to block them.
Yes, right. So it's not like we are, we're not just like fanning the flames here. Like there is something to talk about. Now, maybe they're like pranking all of us and we're going to find out like, oh, they're in on this. And, he blocked her because it's going to be this whole thing. I have no idea. But what I will say is knowing how the inner workings of entertainment media works, which you two definitely know a lot about as well. But anytime when someone is in the spotlight, anytime something incremental happens, like it could be the most nonsensical, doesn't matter thing, it becomes a story. So Walton Goggins talking about, the SNL thing and praising it, to your point, Nick, he totally could just be like, oh, I thought that was funny. Like they did something on our show, ha ha. And it could have nothing to do with her. But now everybody reads into it and it becomes a thing. So I'm invested and I want to know just as badly.
Well, thank you for that little off the record tea. We appreciate it. At least that's more than anyone else on the internet has given us so far. So we will look to see if that work thing ends up happening, and maybe we'll see Walton and Amy Lou in the same room sooner than later. Elizabeth,
I hope I don't get in trouble.
Yeah,
but there you go. There's the tea.
I appreciate it. Elizabeth, always fun to catch up with you. Thank you for the insight. Look forward to having you back in the future. Please let our audience know where they can follow you and follow your work.
Yes, so you can follow my work at CNN, all platforms, on air, online, on social, and my personal socials where you can also follow my work is at Wagmeister.
Amazing. Always great to talk with you, Elizabeth. We'll talk soon.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Our next guest, Daniella Pineda. Super excited to talk with her. She is starring in the new movie, The Accountant 2, also starring Ben Affleck and John Bernthal. She's fabulous in this movie. It's an incredible movie. Super excited to talk with her about that as well as all things Bravo. She's a big fan of the franchise, especially The Valley and Beverly Hills Housewife, both of which will be speaking with Daniella. So let's bring her on. IQ Joe is the instant mushroom coffee from IQ Bar with bold flavors that's loaded with functional brain nutrients and 200 milligrams of caffeine for jitter-free energy, which I love about this because like sometimes when I'm drinking other coffee and I'm drinking too much of it because I enjoy the taste, the next thing you know, I'm just jittery and just don't feel my best self. It's very different with IQ Joe. From classic black coffee to toasted hazelnut and vanilla spice, IQ Joe offers coffee shop flavors without the extra sugar. IQ Joe is free from gluten, sugar, soy, and GMOs. It's even certified vegan and kosher. Well, my favorite thing about IQ Bar in general is that they don't make eating healthy like a painful experience because their stuff all tastes great and it's good for you. And no longer do you have to make the choice between something that tastes good and something that's good for you. It is the perfect busy on-the-go snack for you and your family.
With over 20,000 five-star reviews and counting, more people than ever are starting their days on the right foot with IQ Bar's brain and body boosting bars, hydration mixes, and mushroom coffees. And right now, IQ Bar is offering our special podcast listeners 20% off all IQ products, plus get free shipping. To get your 20% off, just text FILES to 64,000. Text FILES to 64,000. That's FILES to 64,000. Message and data rates may apply. See terms for details.
Hey, all you pet parents out there, if you are looking for a one-stop shop for all your pet needs, then look no further than Chewy.
Chewy has over 100,000 products from all the brands our pets love at prices we love. Foods, treats, beds, you name it, they have it. And it gets shipped directly to your door in 1 to 2 days. And not just for dogs and cats, birds, fish, reptiles, and more. Thanks to Chewy's auto ship feature, I'm never getting that. I'm so disappointed in you. Look, from Jeff and Steve. We've set up reoccurrent shipments for all essentials we use, so we're never running out and can change or cancel your auto ship order at any time. It's super convenient and one less thing you have to worry about. Speaking of not worrying, Chewy has top-tier 24/7 customer service. You can get expert advice over chat or phone any day or night. Plus, if you or your pet don't love something, Chewy's 100% satisfaction guarantee lets me return it within a year, no questions asked.
Chewy has everything you need to keep your pet happy and healthy. And right now you can save $20 off your first order and get free shipping by going to chewy.com/VIALL. That is chewy.com/VIALL to save $20 off your first order with free shipping. Chewy.com/VIALL. Minimum purchase required. New customers only. Terms and conditions apply. See site for complete details. Daniella, welcome to the Viall Files.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Oh, we are so excited. I mean, first of all, we just always love to have a Bravo fan with us to talk about all things Bravo. But before we get to that, you are starring in The Accountant 2. Nellie and I saw it last week?
Yeah.
We went to a theater, got a private showing.
It is so good.
It's an incredible
and you
movie.
fucking hated it. Yeah, I know. It's good. It's really good.
It's so fun, and obviously there's always so many conversations these days about like the movie theater experience, going to the theater. You know, it's so easy to like wait for things to come on demand or streaming or things like that. And this is truly one of those like just fun, feel good movie theater like movies that you really have to go and see. I honestly think it's like a great date movie.
Mhm.
You know, there's a lot of action. There's love. I mean, the whole like theme of this, like honestly, movie is about, you know, Ben Affleck's character, like kind of like looking for love. It's funny. It has great comedy. You play this badass assassin. It's such a fun movie.
Yeah, it's I think it's Ben's best part. Like personally, like I think it's the part that like he looks like he's having the most fun, which people are like, really? And I'm like, yeah, I do. I think it's like the best part that he's ever had. I also think that it's pretty hard to pull off an elevated sequel. But, you know, I always tell people like, you know, like James Cameron, like you establish the world in the first movie. And then in the second movie is when you can kind of like venture off and start to have fun. And it's only with really talented directors. So Gavin was really able to pull that off. And dare I say, I love the first one. I saw it in theaters. My father also fucking loves the first one. But the reason why he loves it is because he was like, when we left, he was like, it's really amazing. He's economical. You know, he's not spending his money everywhere. You know, his house, it's a reasonable house. Like, so that's what resonated with my dad. My dad's so cheap, so he felt very seen. But I think the second one was better than the first.
What was his reaction to being like, Dad, I'm in the second, and you're gonna like?
Oh, my dad freaked out. Like he flipped out. Like everyone flipped out. I mean, I really loved the first movie. Like in 2016, I went to go see it. So yeah, it seems like I'm always latching onto sequels. I get lucky with sequels.
Well, Danielle, I agree. I think it is better than the first.
Mhm.
I loved the first. The first is a rewatchable. Like it's just one of those movies like you can't find anything on Netflix wherever it's streaming. For me, The Accountant's always been like, well, let's put on The Accountant, you know, because it's always just like good. It's just a good movie. It's fun to just put on. I don't know. There's good action, great acting, great characters, great writing, and then the second one I think is considerably better. Not because anything was bad about the first one. It's just more of everything you loved about the first one. And there's a lot more also, but a lot more comedy. Like I didn't think the first one, it was as funny as the second one. And Ben and John and, you know, that dynamic, those two guys, the whole brother dynamic, I literally clapped at the end. We were in an empty theater because we got a private screening and it got done. I was just like, it was so good. I loved it.
What kind of like preparation did you have to do to prepare for this role?
Well, I didn't have a whole lot of time. I mean, I think they just gave me enough time to start training for the fight scene. But thankfully, they shot that at the end of production. So if they shot at the beginning of production, like I may have been in trouble. Yeah. And I've done a lot of fight choreo stuff before, but oh my God, this one was definitely different and really involved. And it's so funny because you work your ass off, and then the scene ends up being like 2 minutes. Yeah. You're just like, wow, I died for months. I didn't have a whole lot of time, but thankfully I had enough time to train. But as far as like character stuff goes, so funny. It was I mean, to go way back, I got a reading from a psychic. Her name's Jennifer Schaffer. I actually met her at Jessica Alba throws this like Latino universe party. It's like every Latino actor ever like gets invited to this party, and like everybody's there. And I got there early because I'm a loser. And so Jennifer was was there. She's a psychic, and so she was giving free readings, and they were like, "Do you want to get a reading with Jennifer?" And I was like, "Yeah." And it's just 5 minutes, and she just like throws all this info at you, and you don't even say a word. And so I was like, "Oh, I have to talk to this woman again." So I spoke to her end of January, and she says, "There's going to be a part that's going to come around. It's going to present itself, and then it's going to go away, and then it's going to come back, and it's going to change things for you." And I was like, "Oh boy," I was so excited because also, most actors, everyone's coming off of COVID and they're coming off of this strike, and entertainment kind of has this feeling right now like it's being held on by a string.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of thoughts about that. So it's kind of it's a little bit of a dark time. And so I was like really jonesing for a win. And so I got the audition for it, and I did it, and I knew who I was up against. It's like usually know, depending on the project, kind of who you're going to be up against. And so I thought I did something really different, and I thought I was like, how do I just be scary? She's just got to be scary. But then it went away, and I was like, what the fuck? I thought I didn't even get a call back. Like I thought I was really something was gonna happen, and it went away. And at that time, I was attached to another movie that was supposed to shoot in Colombia, and that had fallen through. Thank God. But at the time, like middle of February, I was like, shit, I don't have a job. And then my agent calls me at like 9 p.m. at night, and I'm pretty sure I'm being sincere. I think I was like 2 gummies in watching The Valley. And then my agent calls me, and he's like, Gavin O'Connor, it's count 2. He just wants you. He just wants you. So please, like, don't fuck it up. And I was like, oh, okay. Oh my God. I just remember being stoned and very scared. I was so fucking overwhelmed, and I was having all this anxiety because I was having like such a chill night. And then it went to like 10. Yeah. And then I came in and for him, and I think I only had one. Was it 1 or 2? I think I only had 1 audition with Gavin in person. And the other piece of it, not to give away any spoilers or anything, but I just assumed that she was just kind of this sort of cool supporting character. I didn't realize that like the whole movie is about my character.
Yeah, that was centered around the character. Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like she should have a spinoff.
Literally.
It's like they're setting up.
I feel like you also learned that
Amazon.
You look amazing bald and with short blonde hair.
Oh, thank you very much. I mean, I did not prefer the bald look. I was happy when that scene just kept going into the next segment. But thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're very versatile. Yeah.
How exciting to find out that way, though. You don't actually have to like do it,
Yeah. Oh, there was you know what? Before the movie started, they were like, they might want to shave your head. And I was like, what? I was so freaked out because I have taken so long to grow my hair out. And then once I got there, hair and makeup was like, we never wanted to shave your head. And I was like, why did they tell me that? I was like,
that reminds me of, this is a little bit of a callback, but have you ever seen Zoolander?
Of course.
Okay. Well, Will Ferrell famously plays Magatu or something, and he has that crazy hairdo. And I guess like that's his real hair. And he ended up telling the story. I don't know if he went on like late night television, that like after they did the hair, they were like, we could have like gotten you a wig for that. Like hair and makeup said that. Yeah. And he was like, I would have loved to have known that. But yeah, they kind of remind me of that, where it's just like, when you make these movies, as there's hundreds of employees, people in the backgrounds you never know of. And there's so many like departments and communication, hair and makeup, wardrobe, production, producers. And it's like, it's fascinating to hear and very believable that at one point you were told you might have to shave your head. And the next thing you know, someone's what are you talking about? No, we can just put a bald cap on you.
Yeah, I was really sweating because I've had like, in the first Jurassic movie that I did, J.A. Bayona, the director, he was like, I want you to cut your own hair. And I was like, oh, right. Like this character cut your own hair. I was like, okay, great. And then he comes in the trailer with me. Okay, so now you cut your own hair. And I was like, I'm in front of Oscar-winning hair and makeup, but he's so like hardcore in the method and so I literally had to take scissors and cut my own hair, and it looked so jank. Like, when you get a Barbie and you're like working the scissors to like get the chunk off, I looked like that, and I was like gonna cry. And
you're
then
using
Jay
like plastic scissors.
Yeah, exactly. And then they fixed it up for me, but Yeah, it's always if it were up to me, I would just, excuse me, I would only wear a wig and I would never cut my hair. But the other thing that was crazy about this movie was I told Gavin just asked me like, so what do you think? Like, what's her look? What's her vibe? And I kind of did a deep dive. You know, when I knew less about the film, I did a deep dive on like female assassins in Mexico and like cartel assassins. And I kind of just went down a hole. And it's funny because I feel like when they portray assassins in movies or like when they have a look, I feel like they always do the same cliche look, which is like they shave the side of the head. Like, first of all, I'm just to tell you, like producers and people out there, like please stop having alternative women shave the side of their heads. Just let's put that to bed and stop that now so that I don't get confronted with this for the rest of my career. But these women, and I never see this, and we didn't go this direction, but all of them have like the thickest fake eyelash extensions. I'm talking about assassins who like have a high body count, like in Mexico.
Crazy.
They have long black extensions and then eyelash extensions, like, you know, the TSA like extensions. It's like that. And I was like, where's that lady in movies? But I told Gavin, I was like, I kind of want her to be, I want her to be blonde. Couldn't she be blonde? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, wait, really? Like, when I tell you, that might not sound like anything to you, but in movies, everyone already knows what everything's going to be. You don't really get a say. So that was weird for me. Like, and then I had a meeting with all these department heads and they're like, okay, so what are we thinking for the look? And Gavin just looked at me and was like, just tell them what you want. And I was so
really
like,
cool.
that was so different for me. So I got to like
develop
kind of
character.
Yeah.
That's really
And I got
sick.
to be blonde finally.
Have you had you ever met Ben Affleck or John Berthal before you worked with them?
No, I hadn't. No, it was definitely my first time. Ben's huge. Ben's like enormous. He's like a very tall person. When I first saw him, I was like, Jesus, he's like a sycamore tree. And John Bernthal, he's just the nicest guy. He's so nice. He's
and
he really is.
I
That
mean, they're
nice.
both incredible in this movie. I think John really, you know, especially the comedy element really brings it, and it's such a fun watch. And then you also had a scene,
J.K. Simmons.
Yeah, J.K. Simmons. So like you got to do work with all these like very successful, very, you know, established actors in their own right. Was that like a cool experience for you? But I mean, you've done so much other work and other great movies. Or like, do you ever get excited when you get to work with like a big name or someone who's been around, or are you just kind of like, it's just another day at the office?
No, I mean, with the JK scene, I was so excited, but I was also shitting myself. I was like, I have to come correct. Like, I have to really be on it. And I was so excited because, I mean, a lot of actors will say, I tend to find that, like, especially like young actors are just jumping in. You're like, I want to work with these directors and I want to work with like the coolest directors. And obviously anyone wants to work with those people. But at the end of the day, the people who make you a better actor are working with top actors. Like a director is not going to make you a better actor. Other actors will. And it's nice to work with people who are, you know, he's like, JK is like Oscar winning, like he's top notch. So I was pretty nervous. And he's such a good fucking actor that he did this thing that really tripped me out. He would, okay, so we're like sitting at a table, and so in the middle of his scene, he'd be like, okay, I'm sorry. And he would stop, and every single time I thought that he was like cutting the scene. I thought that he was actually stopping. And so I would like, oh, he's stopping the scene. And then he would just keep saying his lines, and I was like, oh, he's not stopping the scene. Oh, no, oh my God, he's such a good actor that I just got convinced he's so realistic that I thought we were cutting. Like, that's how good he is. Like, he's and he's so cool. And it's also like, you know, it's like super, super late. I think we shot that scene. Like, I think it took like 3 days to shoot that whole sequence. And it's nighttime. It was like nighttime shoots. And so I felt like I would do good to like give him his space, but then also like, I feel like good at making older men who are a little maybe grumpy and tired, like make them laugh. I feel like I'm the whisperer of that. Not to say JK is grumpy, but you know what I mean? He's a seasoned actor. He knows what he's doing, and it's late, and we're all tired, and I thought it worked.
Do you ever, Ben's someone who like, I always empathize with Ben. I just feel like the press is always like bugging him and annoying him, and he's always ends up in these memes and things like that. And can we just leave this man alone? I really think Ben like does not get enough credit as like a very talented filmmaker, whether it's as a director or a producer or obviously as an actor. Like he's done some amazing work, and I just don't know why the internet's so obsessed with like, you know, obviously he has his own demons as well, but like I want like, why are we always photographing this man like with a grumpy look on his face?
Who clearly doesn't want to be.
Yeah, because it just feels like, when you hear people who do work with home, you know, they seem like they always have pretty good experiences, you know, working with Ben.
I guess I'm speculating because you're sort of like talking about like, why is this person so in the zeitgeist? And I feel like people really identify with him because he has this underdog energy.
Yeah.
And he's earned, I think he's earned everyone's respect because, you know, he has been so public and we have seen sort of everything that's happened to him and the ups and downs. But what I think is so awesome is that through all of that, there's been one consistent through line, which is that he fucking cares about movies. He cares about movies. Artist Equity, his studio, they're making some really wonderful projects. They're setting their business up in a way that really puts talent first, that gives, you know, crew a percentage. They're really looking after the people who make the movies. And sometimes that's not a big priority for some people who are pretty high up. And I love that Ben cares if a movie is good. He cares so much. So, you know, if you're going to do a movie with him, like, oh, thank God, like people are obsessed whether or not this end result is good. And I think that's definitely the case with this movie. And Ben's super, super smart. Like sometimes he'll just like bust out some random thing. And I'm like, what? Like the other day we had this interview with like LA Times or someone, and he started talking about statistics. And I was like, what? Like it was just so like, wait, what are you talking about? It was so like in depth. And I was like, this guy is like, he's got layers.
Oh yeah, I find him so fascinating, and I think it's obviously just very cool to have worked with him, and I agree with everything you've said about just like his films, and you can see his care in his projects, and it's like just a fan, it's just like when Ben Affleck's in the news, either like some sort of meme, you know, talking about his relationship status, and then sandwich in between like these two, you know, extraordinary projects where like people talk about him as if he's like at the tail end of his career, but he's like constantly just putting out banger and banger and banger, and just we just have to put more respect on Ben Affleck's name, because I just feel like pop culture just like for some reason always just likes to pick on the guy and I don't get it.
But I also think that pop culture sometimes too, they'll pick on people they love. You know, like Keanu Reeves, right? Like everyone loves Keanu Reeves, and you have sad Keanu. It's almost like it's a rite of passage.
Yeah, that's true. You ready to talk a little Bravo here?
Oh my God.
So do you want to start with the Valley, or should we put a close on the season of Beverly Hills?
Let's do Bev Hills and then Valerie.
Okay. I was very excited to watch this final episode, mostly centered around like, you know, Garcelle's exit, you know, the whole like she wanted to take a group photo at the beginning of the reunion and then she was the one who walked away. I was a little shocked when it got to the end, because I thought there was going to be like a very clear explanation as to like what triggered Garcelle or why she was upset. And it was kind of unclear.
I had the same question. Do you think that she had the intention of pulling that off? I feel like it was genuine, but do you think that she had the like, this is how I'm going to exit? Like it was premeditated?
Yeah. Like I feel like the way, and the camera obviously wasn't on her the whole time, but you could tell that like they all cheers. She's holding her drink. Everyone's then putting their drink down. She kind of like gathers up her dress. It's like she waits for her moment and then is like, yeah, I'm out of here. I'm not taking, like waited for Andy to be like, all right, let's take the group photo.
Like she was like, if I like the drink, I'm going to stay. And if I hate the drink, I'm getting the fuck out of here. Like it kind of made no sense.
Yeah, I wondered the same thing. I almost wish that you could have some sort of like, you know, visual, like behavioral decoder who could like watch her face and then figure out what were the things that were said that really triggered her to just want to bounce. Because I had the same question. I was like, what is like, is there one thing? But it just seems like I don't know.
Well,
Nobody was smiling.
She did say at the end that she felt like she was kind of like left alone on an island when she called out Dorit and PK on the whole, maybe the staged robbery of it all.
I gotta tell you, I'm usually Team Garcelle.
Yeah.
But if there was people who broke into my house and then like threatened me with like a gun and I had like kids in the house and that shit really went down.
Yeah.
I gotta say, if someone said I made that up,
you're gonna get a reaction.
That's a little gnarly.
Yeah. But
you know,
I'm with you, Daniella, and I do see both sides, because I've said this on previous episodes, and it seems like from Garcelle's point of view is that like I know from the gossip, talking to other people in this circle, Garcelle is not the only one in this like friend group or extended group that suspects, that the story they've been told isn't exactly what happened. Fair enough. But I think there's a big difference between like friend gossip behind the scenes and then going on a platform or on this show and just making a flat out accusation without any evidence of like illegal shit to the point of like Bozeman or Andy. It's just like you're accusing this person of like a federal crime, and it's just like we're
that's hardcore.
This is a little different than like just like gossip among friends. And the fact that like Garcelle like was so upset with the rest of her peers, I guess, for like not having her back. It's just like, again, like there's a difference between gossip and like, well, hey, I didn't know you were going to sit there and platform this rumor and die on this hill. It was surprising. I didn't get that.
And I will say, I don't feel like she was ganged up on more than anybody else. I was like, Sutton got hers, Dorit got hers, Kyle got hers. So it's kind of like, she clearly internalized it, but it was just like, I don't know why when given the opportunity to share what you're feeling, like she must have been deciding in that moment, like, I'm done.
Right.
Like I don't need to answer your questions because I won't be coming back. Because I'm like, why wouldn't you want to clear that up?
I almost felt like part of the reason why she was upset is almost like she felt like she didn't get enough like airtime at the reunion, because she was like pretty quiet throughout this 3-part reunion. Like there wasn't a lot.
But that's why
of Garcelle.
I'm saying I think that she was planning to bounce this whole time,
Mm.
or I suspect anyway. If you know you're gonna leave, you're looking at the clock and you're like, "Are we done yet?" And then I'm gonna have my grand exit because maybe I've had a sleepy season.
Yeah, you're right. Her body language kind of the whole time was just kind of quietly sitting there.
She said she was not answering questions anymore.
And then she still answered questions.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that a lot of it had to do with Sutton? I think this reunion showed very clearly that Sutton wanted to prioritize her relationship with Kyle and Erica, and even, I mean, not Dorit, but a little bit even Dorit. And then Garcelle's like, oh, okay, then I'll just like go fuck myself then.
Yeah.
If you're not going to be my ally here.
Totally.
It did seem like the first time that Sutton and Garcelle were in a bit of a squabble.
Yeah.
Right. And then they asked about Sutton's behavior, and usually Garcelle's like, no, I understand why, or like tries to reason with. And she's like, yeah, no, I would say that would be a fair.
And by the way, I don't approve of Sutton's behavior this season. Like, I really did not like when she's like, well, my wallet is.
Yep.
And I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm also thinking to myself, like, but you married someone who had money.
Yeah.
Girl, you didn't go and earn that. You married somebody. I mean, granted, you could also say that she probably, rightfully so, contributed to his wealth, because that's oftentimes what happens, right? Unpaid labor of women and the wife and the mother and these things. But I was just like, that is such a lame ass thing I couldn't stand that. But I'll say this. I did go, what year was this? This was like maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I went into Sutton's store in West Hollywood and I walked in. And she was there, and she's like, oh, hey, how's it going? Sorry, this place is a mess, blah, blah, blah. Do you want some wine? Here. And then she like poured me champagne. And I gotta say, I was treated like royalty when I walked in. She didn't know anything about me. And then we just like had, I don't know how many little Prosecco's, just chit-chatting, gift to gab and talking. It's pretty fun.
I've heard stories like that
sweet,
about Sutton many times, so not surprised to hear that. And like watching this, I've always been a big fan of Dorit, as a character on the show. But watching these past few episodes, like totally with you on the Sutton money comment. It was just kind of like tacky. It was beneath her. Like it was just a bad look.
Yeah.
And how do I want to say it? It's just like when Sutton's mean, because Sutton can be very defensive and she never admits she's wrong. Like most of the housewives don't admit ever when they're wrong. But I think when Sutton is mean, it's a reaction to her feeling threatened, right? And sometimes things come out the wrong way. And with Dorit, I think when Dorit's mean, she seems very in control. like is almost like a meanness is like a something she relies on as a tactic to like, you know, get her through social situations. Does that make any sense? Because it just, she seems so in control when she's mean, where Sutton just always feels like she's just unraveling if she says something that you're like, oh, I don't know, that was a little mean.
Yeah, I think Dorit is okay and feels confident, like being the captain of her ship when it gets mean. Whereas you could tell Sutton feels really uncomfortable. She doesn't like being there. That's not her. That's not her. You know, her safe zone. I feel like Sutton really hates conflict. Can we get a show with just Kathy Hilton and Jennifer Tilly?
Oh my God.
And like they have to like go on some adventure, like a treasure hunt together.
Like Crappy Lake, but with Jennifer Tilly and
Like
Kathy
finding ghosts,
need-
ghost hunting with Jennifer Tilly and Kathy Hilton.
And Mary Crosby.
Oh my God. And Mary Cosby, yeah.
And they just get like lost and forget that they're on a show.
Yeah. Yeah, we need Miriam Cosby on that as well.
Jennifer Tilly saying she
needs to
wished
join
she
in.
slept with more above the line talent, but she only dated character actors and squishy comedians.
Squishy comedians is my favorite. Oh yeah.
Anything else about Bev Hills? I mean, other than like, I just really hope that next season. You know what? You know what's really I didn't realize watching this. I didn't realize that every single one of the Beverly Hills housewives, other than Bozeman, is a single woman. You know, like a franchise that was usually based off of like, you know, housewives in a relationship, that so many of these women are now single. And I remember going into this season, like wishing or hoping that this would be the season where we get to see like Kyle date or Dorit date. And it's like, all right, well, if you're gonna be single, I want to, you know, how these women interact in their relationships and love lives is something I want to see. And I don't want to see it, you know, in the form of Kyle talking about Mo again and again and again, you know, or do you want to get back together?
I suspect that they're going to do a turnaround. I suspect that, you know, what they did with New York. I suspect that that's coming with Beverly Hills.
Oh, like revamp?
A whole recast?
I feel like it. I mean, I like the ladies. You know, when they switched up New York, I mean, shout out to the new cast. I also enjoy the new show, but I literally wanted to see those ladies deep into their senility keep going. Like, I didn't want that to die. I wanted to watch that forever. Like, there will never be another Ramona Singer.
Well,
No, there will not, hopefully.
It did come out that the former View co-host Debbie Metanopoulos is in talks for casting on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills after Garcelle's departure. So she said that she's currently in talks with them. So I'm like,
interesting.
Can we bring up a picture of her? It doesn't ring a bell. Oh, okay. She was on The View?
Mm-hmm.
She looks like a housewife.
She was on MTV.
I co-sign. I just hope Bozeman is back. If they do a revamp,
She looks like good drama.
right? And she knows the tea on people. So I feel like she's like, no, I know you.
She'll be like Camille Part 2.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Camille.
Just dropping hints and little like bombs.
But I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, some of the storylines are getting a little. I don't know. You know, the Erica Jane season was like amazing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was great. Although I will say she's had the best, I think, come around. Like I love her story because she was pretty brutalized that season and they were going in on her. Like she was bait. And I think like she's like one of my favorite people now.
Yeah. I like the way that she's able to articulate herself now versus like getting so angry and reactive. Now she's just kind of like, no, you said this. It bothers me. Why are you acting like we have a problem? We've squashed it.
Right.
I'm just letting you know you kick women when they're at their lowest.
And she's not wrong.
And she's not
Yeah.
wrong.
She's definitely not wrong about that. Yeah. The only thing that Erica's wrong about is the earrings.
Oh yeah.
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 It's
That's
like-
true.
I have a hard time letting that one go. But other than that, she's really, her comeback is great. And I think we mentioned this a few weeks ago. To your point, Daniela, it's just like when they say it's like once you fly first class, it's hard to go back. Well, Erica's whole life was first class, you know, opulence, just
Her whole life
everything,
was private.
designer. And, you know, say what you want. Like it's incredibly hard for people to go backwards. You know, a lot of very successful, very wealthy people have done, you know, have made some horrible decisions about their lives and their lives literally ended when they lost it all. And to her credit, she showed a lot of resiliency, picked herself back up. She started over. Yeah, she still had a lot going for her as a housewife and things like that. But like, it's credit to her for not giving up because a lot of people have
Would've walked away.
experienced what she's experienced and literally gave up.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about the Valley?
the millennial nightmare that is the Valley. The walls are melting.
Truly.
Last night, the premiere for my movie is tonight, so I have some family that are in town, and my aunt was watching. She's never seen anything. She's never seen Vanderpump. She does not know this world, and she's like watching 10 minutes in. She's like, "Why are we watching this show with all these fucked up people?"
Because it gets your mind off your own problems.
I don't even, so many thoughts, but man, it came out with a bang. This shit is messy.
Oh yeah. From the jump. I mean, the thing I laughed most about was when they were introing Jesse and Michelle, and they were both kind of talking about their new partners and what they liked about their new partners. And I was like, you guys just sound like two people who are reminiscing what it was like to meet each other when you first started dating. You know, it's just like, well, he does this and then she does that. And it's like, yeah, I'm sure you guys did that with each other like 15 years ago. And like the way they talk about it is if they finally are appreciated and they finally discovered someone who sees them for who they are. And it's just like, that's just because like you haven't hated each other yet. You know, it was just like, you know, nothing about what they were describing, you know, was like, you know, they probably had in their relationship, but it was just like hilarious to see the way they talked about each other without like just acting like these new people in their lives are the kind of like their, you know, their saviors in relationships.
Yeah, there's a lack of emotional maturity there, I think, on both parts. The thing that kind of bugged me about that storyline, which is so funny because after watching the first season, my boyfriend kept being like, God, she's so annoying. She's so annoying. She sucks. She sucks. And then this season, I told him, I was like, you know, I know that she annoys you. I was like, but and she's not, obviously she's not perfect, but he's really making this shit toxic.
Yep.
Oh my God.
The toxicity is coming from him. And it's like, you love your kid so much, but if you love the child so much and you want what's best for your child, then what the fuck are you both doing?
Yeah,
No, I mean,
Get your shit
I almost
together.
feel guilty watching this show
Yeah.
and enjoying it so much, especially as a relatively new parent, because it's like, it really doesn't matter who's right and who's wrong between Jesse and Michelle. It's like you're both kind of terrible parents to just like put your childhood trauma on display as you guys openly admit your pettiness about each other while not even be able to just look at your child and say, we can hate each other all we want, but like, let's just be a team when it comes to our kid. And it's tough to watch this level of toxicity, like kind of just be accepted while we're watching it is like normal behavior. And it's just like, there's a real kid in this equation that's like, it feels almost wrong to allow to be filmed in a weird way.
Yeah. It just feels it feels unhealthy. I hope that they are both in therapy. And I've seen this, you know, in real life where the parents feel they have this vindictive sense about each other and they're so resentful and angry. And it's like, how long are you going to be angry? Like, Jesse, how long are you going to be pissed off? Like, you need to like put the shit aside, but not until season 4 of The Valley.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's a silver lining, it's just like maybe they're just showing, maybe they're putting a lens to all the parents who sadly have to deal with divorce. Because I'm sure, you know, when you're going through it, you really don't see yourself. You don't see how you're acting. You feel like a victim to your partner and things like that. So I don't know, maybe there is a silver lining for people who going through this to be like, God, I hope we're not like that, you know, and things like that. But I would have thought that Jesse, being being new to reality TV, you know, I was pretty critical of him season 1, you know, just because of how he treated Michelle or just how he talked about being a dad. Mm-hmm. He really came across as like often incredibly petty and douchey. And I just wondered if maybe he would like watch it back, whether it was, you know, the edit or, you know, say what you want, but it's just like, so far, episode 1, I'm not seeing a ton of growth from Jesse. I'm not seeing a guy who just like wants to like just be less douchey looking or just wants to be thought of as like a dad who gives a shit or at least an apologetic ex-husband. Because like, yeah, I mean, Michelle, maybe she left you. Maybe there's some things of some overlapping, but like, yeah, he did give her a lot of reasons to like want to leave that relationship. He was a petty guy. He wasn't supportive. He was often mean. It's just like no one could watch him on season 1 and be like, yeah, that's who I want to be in a relationship with. You
Hell
would
no.
think he would want to learn. And the one good thing about these like ensemble casts that come back for recurring season after recurring season is if like usually if you're willing to learn and you get a bad edit or a bad beat on one season, you have a chance for like a bounce back or a
Redeem
redemption,
yourself.
you know? And so I'm kind of hoping that for Jesse, but so far, like I'm not holding my breath.
Yeah.
It also sucks that it's playing out on TV and that like obviously that footage will be there forever. So it's not preventing Isabella from seeing anything, but I'm like kind of hoping or like I wonder if it's better that it is playing out on television because then they're trying to like win the divorce through the audience versus like usually you hear it being put on the kid.
Right.
Where it's like your dad does this or your mom's a terrible person or whatever, where it's like instead they're trying to convince us
Right.
like who's the better parent versus like an Isabella seems fine
Right.
as far as I know, but I'm just like it's sad that this will forever be there, but I'm just like hoping that it's like the toxicity is being aimed at us versus like keeping it in the family.
Or maybe that's part of the storyline.
Right.
Maybe it starts off just like a total shit show and then people grow up by the end.
All the Jack stuff is
Maybe.
pretty dark. It's pretty like
Ugh.
him,
talk about Jax.
yeah. Her being like, I don't want to be in the same room with him without someone else present. Like he's not allowed to be alone with my child. That's
I-
crazy.
Is he taking testosterone? Because he needs to chill.
Yeah. Well, no one's been a bigger Jax critic than me. I will say though, and this is not in any way defense of Jax, but it is more of a criticism of Brittany. And it's similar to the Jesse and Michelle of it all. It's like she says all these things about Jax. She's been very critical of him online, on the internet. She's saying these very like scary accusations about Jax, but yet she is leveraging this situation for her. It's like and I get it, you're a reality TV star, so like, you know, get your bag, but it's like, at what point is this real? And show aside, like, is it just healthy for her to remove herself and her child from this incredibly toxic environment? You know, like, at one point do we ask that question, you know, because it's like, you know, one thing we know about Jax, it's like he's never going to learn, you know, he has never learned. He's never shown any growth. Like, honestly, that scene when he walks into the bar, it really just like reminded me, like in adult life, there are winners and losers, you know? And I don't mean like, you know, even winners lose. Like, I mean, as an actor, right? You have not gotten more jobs than you've gotten, right? And
Yep.
and to me, being a winner in life, in adult life, is you fail and you're resilient and you figure out a way to overcome obstacles, you know? And you're going to fail a shit bunch of times. And then the losers are the people in adult life who just constantly victimize themselves, blame others for their problems. It's always someone else. And like when Jax walked into that bar and all his buddies, I'm like, this is just a group of men who are they're just losers. You know, like everything else is someone else's fault. Like that's just like the vibe I get with Jax and his buddies. And it's just like, he's just never going to learn.
And they're just so petty. Apparently, it just came in that the beer cheese is off the menu at Jax's for the
Yeah.
Valley
Beer
viewing
cheese.
party. Yeah,
Oh, no.
Mama's beer cheese has been
cheese.
crossed off on all of the menus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go Jax.
Go Jax. That's all I do is I quote Brittany as I'm watching. You know, and also too, I think that when he went to get help, which I feel weird talking about someone's mental health, but I mean, they're all very public people, so I guess it's fair game, and here we are. But I think he's undiagnosed bipolar. That's a pretty
Serious.
Was that right? That's a pretty, you know, severe thing to go unchecked, unmedicated. So, you know, hopefully after that diagnosis, you know, maybe he can start to get treated. But that's also, man, that whole thing is brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, then that's also a tough one because it's obviously a very serious illness that many people suffer from. And if you're not medicated, you know, you can put yourself and others in bad situations. And it's like,
Yeah.
it's very tough. Like, I guess as a fan to know, it's just like, am I watching someone with a mental health struggle right now who really
Right.
can't control what they're doing, you know,
Right.
or am I watching someone who has made a history of making up bullshit stories and monetizing drama and knowing how to lean in? It's like, it's very confusing with Jax.
Right. Where I have to deal with my mental health struggles in private. So you do get paid for one gets paid.
Yeah. I mean, it's a real mind fuck to like know like what's what. And he's shown to have like no moral compass, you know? So it's like, this is a very serious thing we should respect. And obviously we want to commend anyone who goes and tries to get help and gets treatment. But this is also a guy who has shown a willingness to have no shame in like using storylines like this to his own benefit. So it's like, well, which one is, you know, it's like, it's
Right.
very icky, you know, just watching Jax Taylor on TV.
Yeah, it is. And also him sort of pointing out that, oh, you're being seen with this guy. You're dating this guy. Isn't that so lame that I can't believe she's doing that. And I'm like, oh my God, Jax has been seen with everybody. I mean, there was a while there, it was like every week, it was like some different OnlyFans looking girl walking with Jax in a parking lot, coming out of somewhere. And I was just like, this guy is a mess. I mean, maybe at this point he knows like I am the problem. You know, I don't know. But I've been watching him for years. Like I don't think he's 45. I mean, that's a little too old to be, you know what I mean? Like
He's already grown up.
Are you
Yeah.
excited about some of the Vanderpump people making cameos on the Valley, or are you just more like move on?
Okay, I'm gonna tread lightly here because I am a devout Pumple. I've been watching them for years. I watched them since close to the beginning season, so I feel like I've been with these people. Also, true story. I hung out with Ariana and Tom Sandoval at my Jurassic Dominion premiere, which was crazy because that was like a mutual beneficial. Like they were clinging to us because like we were in the movie, but I was like, oh my God, they're here. Like we have to hang out with them, which was amazing. And then I unfollowed Tom Sandoval after the Ariana stuff happened because it was Team Ariana. But I still have love for Sandoval, even though he's Sandoval. Wait, what were we talking about again?
Them going on to the Valley.
Vanderpump, right?
Yeah.
Vanderpump. So I've been watching it forever. So what I'm about to say is these are people who I love and enjoy. However, if I'm just being perfectly honest, when I saw that Sheena and Lala, look, they need a paycheck and they are mothers, and so that comes first and foremost, right? People need a paycheck. However, when I heard that they were joining the Valley, I was a teeny bit bummed. I still want to see them. I just didn't want to see them in the Valley world. Like I feel like these universes need to be separated a little bit, but it's all getting really Marvel with each other. So it's like everyone's got to make their cameo.
I see what you're saying, but I do in some ways like that this original cast of the Valley is being pushed in a way to like deliver good content.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you know, I feel like this is a concept that, you know, for all his faults, like it sounds like Jax Taylor was the brainchild behind this concept and kind of got a lot of his
a pretty
friends.
good idea.
Yeah, I think so. And they just kind of put it together, and it was a great idea, right? Like, especially after Vanderpump, it's like we know it. They're not aspiring actors and singers and performers anymore. They're just reality TV stars, you know. And it kind of like the whole plot of the main premise of the show kind of lost itself after a few seasons of Vanderpump. Where the Valley, it's very much like, you know, parents, you know, trying to make, you know, live in California, just like. Even just Danny talking about like the cost of living in Los Angeles versus like moving out to the suburbs. These like very relatable like midlife conversations that, you know, so I love the premise, but like I don't know if this original cast is enough. Like I don't know if Janet's like here to stay for me for the Valley, you know? I don't know. Like, and I do.
Wait, which one's Janet?
The one that gave the fake apology or the backhanded apology?
Oh, okay, the one whose
Kristen?
husband walks around with no wedding ring?
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know,
I
don't know if Janet's here to stay. So like I do like that they're, you know, at least nothing else bringing in people to like keep it fresh, challenge these people to like, you know, give more of themselves, because like the premise of the Valley I think is excellent, you know, and the storylines, I wonder how much we can get out of these characters like going into like a third or fourth season. Sierra, were there any other storylines that we missed Bravo-wise that we wanted to run through?
Storylines or headlines? Storylines. I was going to ask how you guys felt about Janet's apology to Kristen.
That was a kind of lame apology.
Well, she called Zach. She said, sorry, I dragged you in with the demonic behavior. And it was very much like a backhanded, like, I'm not taking responsibility. It's not your fault that you're friends with a terrible person.
Yeah.
And it's just like.
No, I wish reality TV stars just learned a little more about accountability. And you know when Jesse actually made that apology? to Kristen, I was like,
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. That
Mhm.
was so like no strings attached, no like but or you know,
Yeah.
I mean, you did kind of like it was none of that. I thought that was like a clean, nice apology.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know, when they always say there's smoke, there's fire. Like with Kristen, you might get like an exacerbated story. She might exaggerate, but like, you know, if she's talking about some smoke, there's at least a little bit of a flicker of a flame. Like she's not making stuff up. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't.
Yeah.
I would never discredit Kristen. You know, she is dynamic and expressive and sometimes, you know, says things that are a little out of pocket, but she's not a liar.
Yeah, that's true. She's a lot of things, but that's not one of them. Like I can't think of a lot of times where she just straight up made something up.
Yeah.
No.
No. Do you remember Joe? Joe and Schwartz?
Joe, my gosh.
Joe, my gosh. From
No.
last she was the one that was kind of dating Schwartz on and off.
Oh, yes. Yeah, the blonde girl.
Yes.
Yes.
Still in love with Schwartz. Well, it came out that Schwartz is recently single, and she did a Q&A answering questions about him and saying that she had a lack of closure, but she's still blocked by him, but thinks that their relationship.
Why did he block her?
She posted a like tribute to him almost in their relationship while he was in this new relationship with his girlfriend, being like, it's been a year, but like I still have love for this person. We're talking like a novel with like photos and memories and whatnot. And so he had to block her because he was telling her like, respect my relationship.
Right.
But yeah, now she's back on social media answering questions about him.
I was going to say there's other men.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a weird obsession.
You're young, white, and hot. Like the world's your oyster. Just go find another guy. It's easy.
Yeah, I mean,
What's
to
the
ask
problem?
why he blocked her, because like it's been 3 years and she's still talking about him. It's like it's kind of giving obsessive in a weird way.
Or she thinks that Schwartz is her career path, and maybe that
Yeah.
maybe it's a financial thing, like deep down. That's why she keeps sort of chasing that can.
Maybe she can be a friend of the valley.
Right.
I have a
right.
soft spot for Schwartz. I feel like his big weakness is trying to like help the losers. You know, like I think he's like Schwartz has fallen into success his whole life. He's never really had a job. He's this great looking guy who was a male model and then fell into this TV show. And he has just way too much empathy for his guy friends who have never wanted
Yeah.
to grow up. And like at some point that's a little bit of his responsibility, but he does seem to like have a pretty good head on his shoulders and is a thoughtful, considerate guy. He just like can never let go of the people who seem to be bringing him down.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're all like apex Peter Pan people, like
Yes.
hardcore. But I do agree with you. I think that at the heart of Schwartz is always rooting for the underdog and the villainized. And I think deep down, I mean, I think that he's a good guy.
Yeah.
It seems like he's a good guy.
Yeah,
Even Sandoval is
we love him.
as
But
crazy and
Sandoval,
psycho as
he's-
Sandoval is.
He's doing the best he can. That's what I think about Sandoval. I
Yeah.
got, he's certainly imperfect. He's got a unique moral compass, but like, I do think you can do far worse as a friend. With Tom,
Yeah.
at
They
least
all have pages in the DSM.
I just think with Tom, he's so he is who he is. He won't surprise you if you just pay attention. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, he's very clear on what you can count on him for and what you can't. And for me, like, I don't mind people like that. You know, I know what not to ask of Tom Sandoval, you know?
Yeah.
And it's the people who
Yeah, but-
oversell what you can expect of them and make you trust them and yada, yada. But anyways, I don't need to keep defending Tom Sandoval. Daniella, this has been so much fun. Please come back anytime you want to talk reality TV or Bravo with us. But more importantly, congratulations on The Accountant 2. Everyone listening, take your friends, take your boyfriend, take them to the movies. It's so good. It's a lot of fun. For the ladies out there, you're going to love it. And your boyfriend or husband or partner, he will be obsessed that you brought him to this movie. So make sure you check it out. It's so good. Daniella, you're fantastic in it. And I can't say enough of great things about the film and your performance in it.
Yay. Thank you all for having me. I really appreciate it. This is so therapeutic. I just love talking about Bravo stuff.
Well, anytime you need to scratch that itch, we are here for you. Can you let our audience know where they can follow you or find you if in the case they want to follow more of what you're doing?
Yes. My Instagram is not Daniella Pineda. And my X account is nothing because I am not on that platform anymore. So not Daniella Pineda on Instagram.
All right. Well,
That's
be
it.
sure to
Sorry.
follow her there. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you to both Daniella and Elizabeth, our guests this episode. We will see you back on Monday. Bye. Hey guys, if you loved what you listened to, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.